So, on behalf of the Spokane Sangha, welcome. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in this community, and I am so happy to be here. I want to let everyone know that we owe a great deal of gratitude to several Sangha members who held this space for us yesterday when we were kicked off our internet. For some reason, we had an outage in Eastern Washington in Spokane, and so we could not get access to our online meeting. We were just dropped. And yet some of the online facilitators and leaders just took over and continued the meeting. And I am so grateful. It was such a relief to know that that was happening while we were continuing to have a meeting in Soul Center, which is the sanctuary where we practice in person during the week, with the exception on Friday. So thank you everyone for holding the fort and for practicing the wonderful instrument of peace that you all know here, which is just invite it to be perfect. Lose your internet? Oh well, we're all right. We invite it to be perfect. All righty, friends. Welcome, welcome. I now invite you to close your eyes. If that is comfortable for you, you can turn off your camera. And I'd like you to come into a posture in the body that encourages a spirit of ease. Just take a deep breath. And in the privacy of your own space, maybe inhale with intentionality, nice and slow. And on your exhalation, maybe offer a little sigh that begins on the tops of your shoulders. Maybe even lift your shoulders up. And as you're exhaling, sigh it out as your shoulders come down. Let's do that together again. As you inhale, raise your shoulders up toward your ears. And as you fill your lungs, just pause for a moment. And then as you exhale, allow your shoulders to roll down and back. See if you can feel the heart lifting a little bit. Sada. This is the pose of Sada. Sada means faith, confidence. To embody Sada is to be heart-led in one's life. Arrive fully to your practice today. And by fully arriving, I mean exactly as you are today. We have Sangha members here who are poolside. We have Sangha members today joining us from work. We have Sangha members who are traveling in their vehicles. We have Sangha members who are laying down in bed, just starting their day because they're on the other side of the world. We have Sangha members who are sitting in a traditional meditation pose. So many ways to show up to your meditation. And I invite them all. There is a time and a place to have a very specific meditation posture to achieve specific things. Today, the intention of our practice is to create space in the mind and in the body. And I want to tell you why that's the motivation. In the Spokane Sangha, one of the things that we do that's rather unique is we take Buddhist practices and principles and we explore them for an entire month. And for the 2026 year, we have returned to the foundation of a Buddhist practice, which is the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. This particular foundation was the first teaching of the Buddha, to recognize that we as human beings experience all manner of discomfort and dis-ease, sometimes suffering, deep, deep misery, sometimes just petty annoyance and irritation. And there are reasons for this. There are causes and conditions to this. And if we can understand those causes and conditions, we can apply antidotes, we can apply ease, we can cultivate wisdom in order to alleviate these miseries, in order to be present to the discomfort and not get swept away or knocked over by it. And in fact, to use these discomforts, to use this unpleasantness as fodder for our awakening, for our deep understanding. And the Buddha said, there's a way to do that. And he identified basically 8 enormous concepts, what's known as the Noble Eightfold Path. And I just shared with you the Four Noble Truths as well. And the Noble Eightfold Path has these 8 traditional ideas. It begins usually with wise understanding. And the second is wise intention, which is what we're exploring for the month of June. However, in my years of practice, I needed something else. I needed a way to access these noble aspects that felt more tangible. Wise understanding is an enormous concept. It's like saying, I'm going to understand the universe today. It's just too big for me. And I needed a way, I needed another tool, some way to get at my understanding. And so I've spent quite a bit of time trying to reimagine what the traditional language and the traditional ideas, what these mean to me. And how can I access them in my own way and in my own time and using my own life? So I've reimagined the Noble Eightfold Path. And so, in order for me to gain access to wise understanding, I need to learn to be curious. The second aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path is wise intention. And in order for me to really understand my intentions, good, bad, indifferent, neutral, I have to be spacious. I have to cultivate space. Because if I don't, for my practice, I have an inner judge, I have an inner antagonist. And the moment I have an intention that I identify as not being particularly altruistic, not being particularly well thought out, maybe my good intention had a negative consequence that I didn't see or I couldn't have foreseen. I have this inner narrative that is so quick to judge and to negate and to diminish. And anytime I entertain that inner judgment, what happens for me is it limits my access to understanding. I'm too busy judging. I'm too busy admonishing myself. I'm too busy berating myself and shaming and guilt tripping and so on, that I don't have access to a broader understanding. Okay, so my intention went awry. Yeah. Welcome to being human, Julia. What can we learn here? And that question alone, what can I learn here? What's here? I can't access it if I don't create space. So I have to be spacious. And that's the nuts and bolts of it. That's the intellectual part of it. So, how do I now bring that spaciousness into my body? How can I embody space? For me, I access it in two ways. The first is I create incredible stillness in my body. And I'd like to guide you through that now, to create stillness in your body. It's so simple, and yet it's so profound. Together, we're going to access the first foundation of sati, of mindfulness, and it is the body. And we're going to get there by using the breath as an anchor. And not only are we going to use the breath, I'm going to invite you to turn your gaze to the magnificence of your hands. And I'd like you to find a posture in your hands where you can feel your body anchored, rooted, centered, just by having your hands in some kind of pose. They can be interlaced like this. I often have my fingers interlaced upside down like this, and I have them, I don't know why, but I like to have them like this, and my thumbs touching. You can have your right hand, your palms facing up, right palm resting, the backs of your fingers resting in the left palm, thumbs touching. Having your hands resting at your navel or on your belly. You can have your hands, palms facing down, resting on your thighs, or palms facing up. Get to know your hands, friends. Where do your hands want to be? And wherever your hands want to be, invite that to be perfect. These are your hands. This is your practice. Meet yourself in your hands where you are. My hands are interlaced. My thumbs are touching, and they're resting on my desk. For a moment, invite your whole body to feel anchored in your hands. Invite everything to be still, not stiff, still, quiet. And then breathe. And I invite you to bring your gaze to your mouth. You can keep your lips open slightly as you breathe. Bring your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. As you inhale, feel the muscle of your tongue making contact with the roof of your mouth. Feel and sense any temperature shift as the air is flowing through the nostrils. Exhale as you will, nice and easy. Notice the lungs expanding as the breath slows down and becomes deeper. Notice that the capacity at the level of the lungs will increase slightly, creating more space in the lobes of your lungs, partnering with their protective cage, your ribs, able to expand and contract. And the spaciousness that accompanies this stillness, see if you can identify any tension in the body. There's nothing wrong with having tension in the body. This is your body. And sometimes your body holds some resistance. Yesterday, I was on my Tawanda. Tawanda is my weed whacker. And so today I'm noticing some tension in my forearms just from the pressure of weed whacking yesterday. But I'm not weed whacking now. And so, in this awareness that I didn't know I had until this moment, I'm inviting my forearms to relax. They don't have to lift a piece of equipment. They don't have to be on guard for anything spinning and being chopped down. My forearms are simply connected to my hands, which are rooted and still. As you enjoy the spaciousness that you've cultivated because of the stillness now in your body, your mind may have something to say. And all I would encourage here is that you bring a smile to your face so that you don't worry. It's okay that the mind is thinking its thoughts and telling its stories. That's what the mind does. And there's no need to be aggressive in trying to tame it or even temper it. Even if your mind is racing, you can smile at it. Even if your mind has an intrusive thought, some kind of pesky insecurity or a remnant of shame intruding into the beautiful stillness of this space, there's space for it. It can be there. It doesn't have to be front and center. It doesn't have to take the spotlight. But it also doesn't have to be hidden or pushed aside. It's just there. Keep breathing, friends. Breathing with intentionality in this way has a very positive physiological effect. It will increase the oxygen in your red blood cells, which is a systemic thing. It's a systemic positive where increased oxygen in your blood means increased oxygen everywhere, in your muscles, in your organs, in your skin, in the marrow of your bones, everything being oxygenated, everything being given a little more space to function with greater ease and precision. Let's take a step toward the conclusion of our practice today, friends, with a breathing mantra by Thich Nhat Hanh. This is a mantra that I have breathed for many, many years, and I change it depending upon my mood, my thoughts, my circumstances. Today I'll share that mantra in its original form, and then I'll offer examples so that you can feel encouraged to make this mantra your own. Make it real for you. And may it be an instrument of peace in your life. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, this is a wonderful moment. Let me say it one more time. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, this is a wonderful moment. Now, many years ago, I went through some very, very dark times, and my moment wasn't wonderful. And to say such a thing felt like a betrayal to the reality of my moment. And so I wanted to stay in integrity. I wanted to be real about what my moment was. So I kept the first verses, the first two verses the same. Actually, I take that back. I kept the first verse the same, always. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I didn't always smile. What I would say is breathing out, I am here. I am present. Dwelling in the present moment, kept that one the same. This is a scary moment. This is a despairing moment. This is a confusing moment. This is an angry moment. This is a moment I hate and would rather be elsewhere. Whatever was real for me is what I said. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, what's real for you? Dwelling in the present moment, what's arising for you? Be real, be true, and breathe. stillness and breath as a way of being spacious, to cultivate wise intentions. This, my friends, is a practice. And practice makes practice. Thank you so much, friends, for practicing. It's just your presence here is just so extraordinary. A couple of announcements. Just please check out the links that Lo has shared in the chat. We've got a couple of things going on. Tomorrow morning, starting at 9 a.m., we're going to begin our Saturday morning meditations. You have to register for that. It's all about meditations for mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. For the month of June, we're going to be exploring in our Saturday morning meditation interconnection. Just a way of really looking at, wow, look at all the threads in my life connected to the broader point of view. And it's just a wonderful way of opening up the mind, softening the mind and the heart, and really getting the mind out of that narrow, sort of petty, obsessed, fixed state, and really opening it up to begin to see the wonders of life. So that you can join us for. And then just one quick reminder, Sunday, 11 a.m. is Sate Seva. And for anyone who is new to the Spokane Sangha, this is the book that we work with, Sate Seva, Reimagining Recovery and Support. And this is 16 mindfulness trainings, and we are finishing up the exploration on space, the cultivation of space. We've been working on language, wise speech, and really creating space around the language that we use. And so we're going to continue that conversation on Sunday. And I think that'll do it. And let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. And I invite you to just come back to the body and this moment and your hands. And just see if you can fall very gently into that stillness. And breathe. And I'm going to dedicate our practice, the merit of this practice, the goodness, the wisdom, the intention of this practice, and have it radiate out into the world, into the cosmos. And may it wrap around anyone, any living being who needs the brightness and the gentleness and the wisdom of this practice. And I'll end with a very simple chant. May we be happy and peaceful. May we be healthy and strong. May we be safe and protected. May we live with ease. Namaste.